All right, nerds, gonna get back into WoW Wednesdays. Today we're gonna do the subclasses. So we're gonna go through each specialization, and we're gonna make this quick because it's almost my bedtime. All right, first up, Arms Warrior. That's going straight into A tier. It's just Warrior using a two-handed weapon, but like with the bleeds and Colossus Smash and all that, it just works really good, especially with Blade Storm. Um, I don't know. It's just like you really feel like you're the master of your weapon. They have so much utility. It's insane. So anyway, they're gonna go into A tier. They made like a warrior actually interesting to me, and I like that. Um, Fury Warrior, that's gonna go to B tier. It's really cool that you can dual wield two-handed weapons. Um, it really makes you feel like a raging barbarian, but I feel like you just build enough rage to use rampage, and then you just spam. What is it? Bloodthirst and raging blow, and that's it. I feel like it's really it. I know there's like recklessness and all this stuff in whirlwind, but like for the most part, you save all your rage to use rampage, and then you build it back up, and that can get old after a little while, but it still is fun. Um, Protection Warriors, probably the most boring tank in my opinion. They might have the most utility and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like there's not enough really to keep me engaged. It's just a little too dull, but that's just me. Like, I think spamming Thunderclap is really fun, but other than that, it's just I don't know. I'm not too big into it, but that's just me. All right, Assassination Rogue. That's S tier. Love me some damage over time effects, and I like that you can go for bleeds or for poisons or go for both. But I like to stick to the poisons. It's really cool because like a lot of your baseline stuff is just bleeds anyway for Assassination Rogue. Like that's what you're spending your combo points on most of the time, and then you have what is it? Eviscerate as filler when you have all your bleeds up already. So like just adding poisons on top of that, I don't know. I feel like it's more worth it. So plus messing around with people in PvP, super fun. Subtlety Rogue, I'm actually gonna put into C tier. I'm not too big on the what is it? The Shadow Dance mechanic. I think it's a little bit clunky. It doesn't like flow too well with me. So I just kind of like I just have a bunch of macros just to level up my Subtlety Rogue. But I think the fantasy of it is really cool. So that's what keeps that a trash tier. It's just like you are a rogue and you are using like shadow damage for a lot of your abilities, and I think that's really really cool. So C tier it is. Outlaw, that's B. I think it's cool that you can be a pirate, but I don't know. I just never really have the urge to be like, oh, I got to go in my outlaw rogue right now. I think it's cool that like the whole roll the bones, the gambling thing. I think that fits the pirate thing really well. Like you can pull out your pistol and all that stuff, but it just doesn't draw me in. Marksmanship Hunter, that's gonna go into A. I really miss Sidewinders from Legion. I thought that was the most fun Marksman has ever been. That was crazy fun. I wish they would bring it back, but Sniper Shot in PvP, super fun. That's really all I got to say to it. Alright, Survival, that's trash. Used to be like almost a magical archer with black arrow, explosive shot, serpent sting, all that stuff. And I know they kind of brought some of that stuff back, but it's just not that same. They turned it melee. I don't like that. What would have been cool if they turned it into a spear thrower, because we don't have anything like that. But I don't know. It's just we have so many melee classes already. we only have one ranged physical class. Everything else is spells. But if they kept it as like some sort of shadow or magical archer, that would have been so cool to me. But they ruined it, and I can't forgive them for that. Beast Mastery Hunter, that's gonna go up into S tier. Super simple, I know, but I like to do PvP a lot. I got a simple rotation. I can focus on utility and like movement and stuff like that. But hey, I really like it. I like having pets. It's fun, especially if you're on a red thigh basin and you're at the top of Lumbermill and you can just send your pets like halfway across the map just so somebody can't mount. It's hilarious. But that's why they're going to S tier. Just, I'm a day one hunter. So there you go. We'll put Vengeance Demon Hunter at B tier. I think it's really cool, but maybe just because I haven't leveled mine up enough, but it just takes too long to build a Fury or whatever. So, I don't know. It's just like, it's cool. The concept is cool, but I like the flavor of it, but it's a little too slow moving compared to other tanks, but still more interesting than the Warrior. Havoc Demon Hunter will probably be at the bottom of A tier. Super fun, super fast playstyle. Really like the glide, double jump, all that. I-beam is really cool, and I always get the talent that puts you into demon form after using it. But I don't know, like after playing it for a while, it gets a little too repetitive. So it's just gonna go A tier, but it is fun. Guardian Druid, that's probably gonna go to top B tier. You just kind of swipe everything. Like it's kind of cool. Like you can go into like the Moonfire spec with it. But I don't know. It's just very basic. Swipe everything. Super easy to keep aggro and train through dungeons, but it's alright. Feral, B tier. It's like a rogue, but worse. It's really all I got. But the movement speed is really cool. So flag running, that's what they're meant to do, in my opinion. Resto Druid, that's going into S tier. Love me some damage over time effects, and I love healing over time effects too. And just stacking them and stacking them and stacking them to go with your mastery. It's great. I really like it. So that's why that's probably the most fun healer to play, in my opinion. So they're going into S tier. Balance, probably the top of B tier. Really like the fantasy. I think the sun and the moon mechanic is really cool, doing lunar and solar damage. I think that's really dope. Really, like I said, the fantasy, really cool. Becoming a laser chicken, that's awesome. Or just like the starlight kind of form. But I don't like the eclipse mechanic. Like going back and forth, because it might be me just having to get good, but I can never really just get it down. So that's why that's going there. Frost Death Knight, that's going to be A tier. Definitely my favorite out of the Death Knight specs. You're just like a melee Frost Mage. It's really cool. You can freeze people. Yeah, like if you get a ranged person near you, you can just chain them and root them without mercy and just destroy them. So that's why they're going into A tier. Unholy, that will go into B tier. Really like the fantasy, but it's kind of the same issue as Balance Druid. The whole Festering Wound mechanic I do not like, but summoning all the undead, that's cool. Wish we had a Necromancer instead, but I guess we'll just have to settle for a melee one. Blood Decay, like a little bit more than the Guardian Druid. Super easy to play, but like it's really crazy to me how often you go into low health and then just come back up from a death streak. I don't really get it. it makes me a little too nervous as a tank. I like to stay as close to full health as possible, so I don't want to have to worry about healing, but whatever. Alright, Devastation. I did the intro quest line for Evoker, and I never really had an urge to go back and play it. So, it's C tier. I don't have anything against it, but I haven't been like, oh, I gotta level this up. This is great. It's just kind of there. Augmentation. I messed around with the talents and tried it out, and I don't think it's for me. There's just like too much like random ass management that I just don't care for. And then Preservation I haven't tried, but it's healing, so it can't be that bad. Speaking of healing, Paladin healing, it's trash. Alright? I don't like it. Your heals are being dependent on like Word of Glory. Word of Glory depending on like holy power and stuff. I don't like it. You know, your heals do more when you're near people. It's just kind of weird to me. But whatever. Retribution. Doesn't have any dumb mechanics. I just think it's kind of a boring play style compared to other classes. I'm not huge on the Paladin class, and it's just like being a goody two-shoes. I kind of like to do my own thing. Protection Paladins, however, they're going into A tier, and the only reason they're going into A tier is because they have Avengers Shield, and you can throw your shield like Captain America, and that's really fun. That's it. That's the only reason. That is the only reason I ever wanted to level a Protection Paladin, is because of that. So, they're in A tier. Discipline Priest. It's funny. They're actually in A tier. I was actually explaining to somebody that I haven't liked them since Wrath of the Lich King, but it seems like I just didn't level one up enough, because I got to a point where you got Divine Aegis again, and so like all your critical heals put a little bubble on them, and that's what I was missing. So they're up there. You know, like you got the whole atonement mechanic, which is whatever, but like you can heal really good without like using that still. So like they're just so good that you don't even have to use their main mechanic. So to me that's just impressive. Holy, it's just your baseline generic healer, but you know, they're really good. They got really strong heals. They got like a lot of big cooldowns, but it's just a little too basic, but whatever. Shadow Priest, that's going into A. You turn purple, you make people go insane. What isn't there to love? So there you go. Windwalker, that's gonna go into trash. It doesn't fit. I don't like it that much. It's whatever. Kinda wish it was out of the game. Exact same thing with Brewmaster, but you know, I don't going around throwing kegs of beer at people doesn't really fit with like spells to me. So they're just gonna be down there. Mistweaver, I kind of like the healing, but I would sacrifice it to get rid of the monk class in general, because I don't like it. It doesn't fit to me, but their spell effects look really cool. I really like that jade green on everything. And like summoning the jade Supreme statue, I think that's just like a game changer. But it's really interesting. There's no just like medium heal. You have like a lot of little heals and a lot of like big cooldown heals, but there's no like in between. Like Soothing Mist is, yeah, you can channel it, but it's not really doing that much. So it's like you kind of need the statue to help you out. But so it's kind of cool playing around that. But other than that, it just it's alright. Alright, Destruction Warlock. That's going into Voodoo. You got Chaos Ball, Incinerate, all that stuff. Summoning Infernals. It's just like, it's a mage but cooler. you know, like you can turn your fire green with that quest. It's awesome. Affliction. I love damage over time, and I love Halloween, and like their spells just fit it. My favorite color is purple. The second favorite color is green. All that stuff is right on your action bar. It's just cool. You got a spell named Haunt. Like, what is there not to like? You just curse somebody, and you stay away from them, and then they die. It's great. And then Demonology. All Warlock specs are cool. They're all fun. They're all great. I don't like to buff the Felguard that much. I like to just summon as many wild imps as possible and just keep ramping that up. It's crazy. It's fun. I like setting new records, seeing how many I can get to. But I don't know, just watching those little guys go just does something. I don't know. Frost Mage, that's going to go probably right behind Frost Death Knight. Actually, I'm probably going to go above it. I prefer ranged classes, I'd say, overall. But I really like Glacial Spike. You get the 5 icicles, turn it into a huge one, send it at somebody, watch half their health bar go away. It's great. Arcane, it's okay. It's very basic. I just spam arcane missiles because I don't care about the whole arcane orb mechanic, whatever that is. I just don't care. I used to level up with a friend doing dungeons and battlegrounds, and all we would do is spam arcane missiles, and you'd be surprised at how good it works. So that's why that's there. We'll put fire right about here. I haven't played it in a while, but last time I played was for Midsummer Fire Festival, and it was fun, but it wasn't very memorable, so we'll just leave it in the middle of B. Shaman, that can come around right here. Yeah, more interesting than Holy Priest, but for Resto Shaman, I think it's cool using the water, a lot of group healing, stuff like that, but I really miss the totems back from Cataclysm and stuff like that. And, what else I was going to say? I don't like their mastery, where it's like, oh, the lower health they are, the more your heals will do. But, like, the whole point of me healing them is to make sure they don't go to low health. So, I'd rather have something that's more proactive than reactive, but that's just me. Enhancement Shaman, Topacy. Love the fantasy of it, but love the flavor of it, but it's just so clunky. The cooldowns are super awkward to work around. They got rid of the little tornado animation when you got flurry, so that's missing too. I don't know. It's not as good as I want it, as it can be. You know, there's just like little things here and there that can be tweaked, and I would love it. And then Elemental Shaman. That's going to go right behind Beastmaster Hunter, and S tier. Probably the most visually appeasing spec that there is. Lots of colors, very vibrant. Love spamming lightning. My current Elemental Shaman has nothing but AoE abilities, and it's great. But yeah, that's the list. So see you around.